I can't go to some social gathering and just start talking about AI because that is so boring. But I get to turn on this camera and say something about it. We're at like ChatGPT 4.0 right now, at least when I'm doing this. It is super cool to me, and I love all the legal stuff that I'm able to do with AI. The question is this stuff going to just somehow become conscious one day? And consciousness is a sticky issue, I know, but I love John Searle's thought experiment. I'll explain what he conceived. He conceived somebody like me. I only speak English. I don't have any idea of Chinese or Chinese symbols. And he sits me in a room full of Chinese symbols and rules. And the way this works is there's a slit in the door in front of me. I get a piece of paper with a Chinese symbol or two. My rule is I have to go around the walls and maybe look through a book, find those symbols, and wall instructions will tell me what other symbols to write down when I see those symbols. So I get the piece of paper, I see some squigglies, and I find, okay, I have to write these squigglies on this piece of paper. So I do. I write some more symbols on the piece of paper and I shove it back out the door. Now, the people outside the door that just handed me, they don't know they're handing me anything. They handed me a slit with Chinese symbols on it. I handed them something back with Chinese symbols on it, and they are amazed. What a great answer. This person understands what I wrote and intelligently responded to what I wrote. They are amazed at answers that come out of this slit in the door. The issue is, of course, I did not understand their question. I did not understand the answer I gave. I had no consciousness whatsoever throughout this entire process of receiving symbols and giving symbols back. And that may be where computers are at this point. That may change, but at this point, language learning models may simply be manipulating symbols in a very complex way to where they can spit out more symbols, that they really are not conscious of what they are saying or even really understanding it per se, because I didn't understand any of the symbols I put back out, but y'all that understand Chinese on the outside of the room, you guys understood it in, I think, an intellectual, lazy sort of way. Say, well, consciousness might emerge from this complexity. Look, that term emergent property is a fancy way of plastering over ignorance. That is just, wow, we are ignorant of this, so therefore we will use the term, well, something emerged. Nope. You're going to have to explain it a little deeper than just saying something emerged. Here in Longwood, we have this great Corvette store, and they have this wall of the Corvettes, and it's very cool. They've got the 60s Corvettes, the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and even the new ones. And when you look at this spread of vets, if, God forbid, humans disappear from Earth and we are left with this Corvette store, some aliens could look at this thing and visit and go, wow, there's these breathing machines. They breathe in, they take fuel in, they have little brains. And look at how these machines emerged one after another. They sort of evolved one after another. We could see how this happened. Whenever you hear emerge, and look how this happened, that is just a fancy way of plastering over ignorance. It is a lot more complicated to build a 2000 Corvette and a 2010 and a 2020 and a 1979 vet. 1980 happens to be one of my favorite, the early 80s vets with the 350s. Fantastic cars, I believe. Anyway, I don't find consciousness emerging yet from symbol manipulation, even as the manipulation gets more and more complex. That's just my humble opinion.